Hey everyone, welcome to Dark Histories Yesterday Today. It's Wednesday I didn't check. 5th? 4th? Wait, I'm a moron. I've got it on my script. Wednesday the 3rd of April. And today, we're going back to 1866. We got papers from both sides of the Atlantic again. First up, we got a story about idiots. Idiocy, a theory. A late meeting of the Scientific Society of England, H.G. Atkinson read a paper on an idiot family of Downham, Norfolk, which comprised 5 children, 4 boys and a girl, all idiots so low as to be scarcely above the brutes. Their father was a man of intellect, but he kept a public house and brought up these poor children to maturity, and the mother was a woman of weak mind. Dr. Ballard, in commenting upon this paper, said he had closely studied the subject of idiocy. He held the belief that it was not hereditary, but produced by influences acting on an individual at birth, and announced his theory. In the asylum at Earlswood, he said nearly all the idiots, no matter how old, are continually sucking either their tongues or fingers or bedclothes. This arose early in infancy from a want of the infant's natural food, which was only to be got from sucking. The baby went on sucking and swallowing its gastric secretion, and this produced constant dysentery. In many instances, it totally destroyed the stomach, withered the creature, and ended in idiocy. Such things took place frequently in the same family when the parents were of full mental development. Dr. Gibb confirmed this view and said that it was now greatly engaging the attention of the profession as being of high probability and importance. Wow, there you go. I mean, there's so much science there, isn't there? So first of all, they're talking about idiocy as a sweeping generalisation, which probably covered about 1 million different learning disabilities and handicaps and mental health issues and all sorts. But they just sweepingly said idiocy. And then they're trying to find a reason for this and put it all back to being a child. Yeah, why not? That's so much failure. So next up, across the other side of the Atlantic, we got the most Wild West story ever. Duel in Kentucky. A special dispatch to the Cincinnati Enquirer says that the long-deferred duel between Captain Kimbrough and Joe Dasher, both of Cynthiana, took place at Denry in Fayette County at 5 o'clock March the 26th, and will result fatally for one of the parties. Captain Kimbrough was on the first fire, and he shot through and through the hips, the ball terribly mashing the hip bones. The pistols were the large dueling pistols used in the meeting years ago between Henry Clay and Randolph. So I don't really understand a lot of that. I don't know who Henry Clay and Randolph was, but all I got was flashbacks to the end of Back to the Future 3, and wondering if either of them went out there with a great big iron tray under their chest. Next up, we're going back to science. Among the hen persuaders, machines for cutting off the tops of eggs and picking the dirts from keys and the like should be placed a recent invention by an Englishman of a machine for teaching children how to walk. Geez, right, you can just imagine that contraption, can't you? Imagine putting a soft, meaty child in this metallic machine grasp. Surely nothing's going to go wrong there. And on the topic of crazy ingenuity, it is stated that smugglers have laid pipes across the St. Lawrence River and are engaged in pumping whiskey from Canada into the United States. Now that is desperation for you. I mean, who would want to drink whiskey that's been pumped through a metal pipe that runs under a river when times are tough, right? So on the subject of ingenuity, we're going to skip back over to England for a story that involves ingenuity of a somewhat darker order. For 2 years past, a man whose name is said to have been Vellans has lived in an underground room or kitchen at the Sussex Hotel, Bouverie Street, in the city. It was supposed that he was a carpenter because he did some carpentry about the hotel, but nothing further was known about him. A month ago, he shut himself up in his room and was not seen or heard of for a fortnight. At the end of that time, some of those in the hotel became alarmed and they broke in his door. He was found to be lying on his bed in good health, and he was so indignant at being intruded upon that he called in a policeman and gave one of the men who had broken in his door into custody for the offence. He soon afterwards shut himself up once more, posting a paper on the door stating that he was out and that all messages were to be left at the door. On Tuesday morning, the hotel people resolved to break in his door again, but this time they took the precaution of having a police constable present. When the door was forced, they found that the unfortunate man had contrived a species of guillotine by means of which he had nearly severed his head from his body. He had removed his bedstead near the cupboard door and placed a bench between it and the cupboard. To the post of the bedstead, he had contrived to affix a heavy axe, the handle working freely on a screw. He inserted the cupboard door a double-action pulley to enable a rope holding up a stone weighing 90 pounds. He then, evidently, had lain down on his back on the bench, placed the axe on the side of his neck, and cutting the rope which held the ponderous weight suspended, eventually accomplished his purpose. No letters or documents giving away any clue to the previous history of the man had been discovered. Even his Christian name is unknown. The inquest was held on Thursday, and the evidence provided the case to be one of the most determined suicides recorded in the annals of crime. Certainly was determined. That's going a long way to offing yourself, isn't it? See, this is... Well, actually, I was about to say this is what happens in a country where you disallow guns, but guns would have been allowed then. Surely that would have been much easier for him. Maybe he was just a crazy engineer and he just wanted to go out with a crash, a bang or a crash for an engineer. I don't know. Anyway, that was yesterday. This is today. Hope you all have a great day. Thanks very much for listening. Cheers.